Some of my favorite guests in the parks had 4 legs, not just 2. Some of my favorite guests in the parks were the service animals that came in. They were usually dogs, but every now and then you'd see something a little different. I remember seeing a cat one time, and one of my coworkers actually saw a service monkey. I didn't get to experience that one. They create some wonderful moments in the parks, some special memories, and we would see them on a regular basis at Disney and Silver Dollar City. They aren't there just for fun, though. They're not pets. They're there for a reason. Pets generally aren't allowed into the parks, but service animals are, and not just because the law says so. They're there for a very special reason, a very important one, and people are very dependent upon them when they come in. They also create some wonderful, magical moments. I loved when we had them come in on the train at Silver Dollar City. If we would see a family come up with a service animal, usually a dog, we would try to direct them over to the special entrance. This is the entrance that we would take in people with disabilities and wheelchairs. It was a way for us to help the service animals not have to deal with the crowds in the station because it could get pretty packed and crowded in there sometimes. It allowed us to put the family on board the train first, and then that way they were able to relax and not have to worry about the stampede of everybody else coming on the train. It also allowed us to put them in one of the better spots on the train. Our train had one big spot for wheelchairs, and if there wasn't a wheelchair there, I liked to put the service animals there. It gave them some room to stretch out, to lay down, and not be stuck right underneath everybody else's feet where they might get bumped and kicked and jostled around a little bit. It made it a lot more comfortable for the animal. It also was a really good seat for the family, and there were a couple seats right on the side that they could sit right next to it. If they were a larger family, then there was a whole bench right behind the big empty spot for the animal, and so they'd all still get to be together while the animal was comfortable. It was also near the back of the train, which was good because it kept the dog away from the real loud train whistle. Help protect their ears a little bit. Every now and then we get somebody who didn't really want to sit there, which I could understand, even though it was one of the better spots to actually sit on the train, but that was usually where we tried to put them. I'd also give them a little bit of a spoiler alert and kind of let them know when I was going to be coming down the hill to shoot the gun as a conductor. That way the dog didn't get scared by the loud bang, because it would be a little bit close to where they were. Usually I didn't give spoilers, but that was one time I did, just to help make it, again, more comfortable for everybody. The other thing that was really neat when we'd have families come up with the service dogs is it kind of gave us a little bit of an eye to look for something special that we could do. These were families that oftentimes were going through different struggles. We didn't ask what the dog was for, but we knew that there was something going on. And it was a way for us to kind of say, okay, what can we do special for them? We would grab some of the kids that came up and use them as our special conductor, because kids love being able to yell, "All aboard!" for everybody. That was a lot of fun for them. It also allowed us to be able to do other various different things and other ways that we could kind of make it just a very special moment for them, a special memory. That wasn't necessarily just for kids either. Hey, if we could do it for the adults, we would. But again, we didn't ask why they had the animal because there were a huge variety of things that animal could be there. Most of us are familiar with seeing eye dogs and hearing dogs that help the people be able to know where to go and what to see and what's going on around them. But service dogs can do a whole lot more than that. One of the things I found out recently was there's actually migraine detection dogs, and I could use one of these. These dogs can actually smell a migraine coming a couple hours ahead of time, give their owners warning, be able to let them get the medication and get treatment before the migraine kicks in. Which if you've ever had a migraine, oh, that would be a lifesaver, because I've dealt with that. But then imagine that same person, a migraine's coming on, the dog is trying to warn them because the dog can tell hours ahead of time, and there's all these people distracting the dog, wanting to pet it, wanting to grab it, wanting to do this, wanting to do that. And the poor people may not necessarily be able to get the warning or may not be able to take care of what they need to because there's a lot of distractions. And that's one of the things that happens with service dogs when they're in the park. People see a dog and they immediately want to go pet it, or play with it, or grab its tail, or kick it. Yes, because some people are just jerks. If a service dog is in the park and you see it, I don't care how cute it is, it's working. Let it work. It might be something as simple as a migraine, but they may also be there to detect sugar lows for somebody with diabetes, seizure alerts, cancer. They may be there to help somebody with their wheelchair, to help propel it or push it. They may be helping somebody walk. I have seen service animals helping people balance, and somebody comes up and has to play with the dog and almost knocks the person over because they're not paying attention to what that dog is actually doing. There are other people that may have autism and it helps them deal with their environment. There's just a huge variety of things that the service dogs do. So when you see a service dog in the park, realize that dog is working. It's not there to play. Be respectful of it. Let it have its distance. As tough as it is, don't ask the owner if you can pet them. I know that's hard. My family, we love animals. That's one of our first things we want to do is go up and pet the animal. But it's working. And it puts the owner in kind of an awkward spot because they don't want to be mean. They don't want to say no. They don't want to be rude. But their dog is busy. It's like walking up to somebody in the middle of their job and asking them if they can stop what they're doing. Hey, doc, can you stop that surgery right now? I want to shake your hand. Not a good idea. See, service dogs aren't just in the park sometimes to help people. That's what they're usually there for, but they may also be training in the parks. Susan Grill of Trained and Maintained Service Dogs down in Florida actually told me that theme parks are one of the best places to train the dogs. Because of the crowds and the noise and the distractions and different things like that, it helps the dogs be able to learn to tune all of it out and be able to focus on what they're doing, and that's to take care of their people. And so when they're in a theme park and fireworks go off, it might make the people jump, but the dog doesn't even notice. Or if other people around are jostling and banging, the dog can keep going and not lose track of what it's there to do. And that's to help its people. In fact, one of the things that she showed me that really kind of surprised me, and I didn't realize this was a problem until she told me, is the number of people that want to essentially chase service dogs with their cameras. And once I thought about this, I was like, oh yeah, this would really be awkward. Imagine that you're walking along with your dog and everybody's pulling out their cameras and wanting to take pictures of you. And they're following along with the cameras. And of course, they want to get down to dog height. So now they're following along at really weird angles, and not only are they getting the dog, but they're also taking pictures of your backside. I don't know about you, but I'm not that attracted to my backside. I really don't want pictures of it out there. Apparently, it gets so bad sometimes that people actually go into the bathrooms and take pictures of the dogs underneath the walls of the stalls. Don't let that be you. Let them have some privacy, really. People sometimes, you almost want to get shocked and amazed, but then when you work in a theme park, you go, yep, that's just how dumb they are sometimes. So let the dogs do their jobs, let them work, and if you do, you might even get to witness some incredible moments like I did. At Disney, when they would come in, people would love to get their pictures in front of the castle, and of course they get the picture with the dog and the whole family. But then oftentimes they would also take pictures of just the dogs in front of the castle. We could get some really neat pictures of the dogs in pose. We would also see some incredible encounters with the characters. You would watch people walk up and they're holding on to the dog for balance because it's kind of helping guide them up to the character. And then they just see their face light up as they were able to walk on their own. Or maybe they would be so excited that they would have a hard time shaking out of excitement, and the dog would help them to calm down and enjoy the moment. I watched kids that would be just really scared and nervous of meeting a character, and the dog would very gently guide them and pull them up to the character and let them have this wonderful encounter that they may not have been up to on their own. The dogs could be a stabilizing factor in their being able to get up and actually meet the character. And of course, who doesn't like watching the dogs interact with the characters? It'd be a moment for the dogs to have a little bit of time off and to be able to play. And we got these wonderful pictures of dogs rubbing noses with Pluto because, you know, what dog doesn't want to meet Pluto at Disney World? Sometimes other characters had opportunities to be able to interact with them, kind of like Snow White here, showing the dogs a little bit of attention. Again, letting the dogs have a couple moments off. Dogs are puppies too. They like to play. They like to have their moments. You just have to make sure they're the right moments in the appropriate times. I can remember one other time we had a service dog come in, and the owners let him off duty and let him play a little bit, and Pluto happened to have a ball there. And so the two of them were chasing this ball around in the room in Toontown. It was quite funny watching them play. Had a great time with it. And the family, of course, had a wonderful time being able to watch their dog interact in a way that they wouldn't have gotten to. One story that Susan shared with me, in fact, was about a girl named Diana Orama. You can see her picture here. She's in the wheelchair with her dog. She grew up in Florida and hadn't been to Disney. To grow up in Florida and not go to Disney is almost a crime. And so, knowing this girl was sick, they made arrangements for her to be able to start going to Disney, to be able to start enjoying her time and start visiting the parks. And of course, Disney cast members were absolutely wonderful with this. After her first visit, Diana got home and her dad actually found her in bed sobbing. He walked up and, "What's going on? What's wrong? I thought you had a great time today." And she kind of sobbed back, "I didn't know there were so many nice people in the world." That's what we as Disney cast members like to do. When we had those opportunities like this, we love to pour on the love. And an assistance dog, that was a great sign of, hey, here's somebody to pour it on with. Go show them a wonderful time and help them forget what else is going on around them. The sad thing is Diana didn't make it that long. She actually passed away in December of 2016 at the age of 12. But you can see with the picture, she had some great times her last couple years. One other story I'd like to share that Susan shared with me, and why you don't want to distract the dogs. There was one lady that had a dog that was a seizure alert dog. It would let her know about 20 minutes ahead of time that she was going to have a seizure coming on. Well, not liking to be having one in public for probably pretty obvious reasons, the dog warned her but got distracted, and so it was a little bit late, and so she was trying to get out to the parking lot to get to her car so that way she could have a private place, get over the seizure, and then be able to function again. She didn't make it. She ended up collapsing in the parking lot, and some well-meaning person who didn't know what they were doing thought, oh, I got to get something in between her teeth to help her keep from biting her tongue, and stuck a plastic pen there. Well, in the middle of the seizure, she bit the pen to pieces and shards, and by the time the EMTs got there, they were actually having to pull pieces out of her trachea and her mouth. All because well-meaning people distracted the dog and then tried to perform help in a way that wasn't helpful. Whereas if the dog had been left alone to do its job, she could have had plenty of warning, she could have gotten to a safe spot, and she would have been fine without any of the other things. So if you see a dog, let them do their job. They're there for good reason. Remember that it's working. It's not there for play, it's not there to be pet or get attention. Don't follow it with a camera. By just leaving it go, you may very well be keeping somebody safe and possibly even saving their life by not distracting that dog. Thank you so much for watching. I want to give a huge shout out of thanks to Leila Silvia and Susan Grill of Trained and Maintained Service Dogs. They were a huge help, provided some of the stories, provided most of the pictures that you're seeing in this one. Thank you so much for them. If you want to know more about them, look up Trained and Maintained Service Dogs in Florida up on the web. Great company. I'm sure they would love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching again. Please don't forget to like and share. Hope you enjoyed.